Hey folks, welcome back to GIMPTips, and this is going to be an introduction video to the clone tool. Now if you're familiar with the clone tool and you know about it and you know how to use it, this primer is going to be too basic for you. This video is aimed for the people who never heard of the clone tool or maybe have heard of it but have never explored it. This is going to be basically a clone tool 101. So let's get started. First off, I'm going to drag over an image, enlarge it to the canvas, and you get to the clone tool by pressing the C key on your keyboard, and that will bring up the clone tools. Now we're not going to get into a lot of the details about all these different things. Suffice it to say that I'm just going to show you the basics and a couple things you need to know about the clone tool to use it effectively. It is basically a very precise version of copy and paste. You will designate where on the image you want to copy the data from, or the image part from, as well as designate where you want it to paste. It varies greatly from Control-C and Control-V, as copy and paste on the keyboard is global, whereas the clone tool is very precise. In fact, if you wanted to, you could get right down to the pixel level and copy information at the pixel level using the clone tool if you want to get that detailed. So basically what you need to do is show on the image where you want the information to come from and where you want to have it go to. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the size up to about 130 just to give you an idea of what we're doing here. Now next to the word blue to the left, you will see that the mouse cursor has changed into four different things: a circle, a crosshair, there's a little no symbol, and a little icon that looks like a rubber stamp. That's the GIMP symbol for the clone tool. The size of the circle is determined by the size that you set here. If I change this to a larger number, you'll see that the circle gets larger. If I bring the size down, you'll see the circle is smaller. So let's see how close I can get to 130 this time. 133 is close enough. Now, in order to clone part of the image from one place to another, you need to do a couple of things. First off, you need to move your mouse cursor, that crosshair in the center, to where you want to copy the information or the image from. So let's go down here to the bottom right, and in order to tell GIMP that you want to copy from this spot right here, you hold down the control button and then left click. And you'll notice that no button disappears. But you have a circle, the crosshairs, and the clone symbol. Now when I move my mouse, you'll notice one circle stays there and the other circle moves with my mouse. I'm now going to move my mouse to where I want that information in the circle in the red to go to. And I simply do that by left clicking. And I have a red circle there. I have a red circle there and a red circle there. I can even put a red circle right there. Now that's basically simply copy and paste. Let me back out of those. Consider this as basically copy and paste, where one circle is Control-C and the other circle is Control-V, but you don't need the keyboard shortcuts now. You can just do it with your left mouse. If I want more than just that circle to be copied, I can do that by moving my mouse. Now, when I move the mouse, I want to press and hold the left mouse button. That now gives me a red dot where I've copied and pasted that red circle. Now, when I move the mouse with the key still down, you will notice that I'm extending that red area. And pretty soon the word red will start to show up. So you can see how this can be very, very helpful when you want to clone a part of an image to another spot. I can come up here and select the middle of the green and drop that down here in the yellow area. I can now take this area right here and clone it down here. And I can take this area right here and clone it up here. And all this is done with just the control button and the left mouse button. There's no Control-C, Control-V. I can change the size of the copying. So that is now much larger. Or I can change the brush characteristics. Let's go to a fuzzy circle and let's make it pretty good sized. And now I'm going to copy this over here. You'll notice that the edge of the circle is not hard and rigid. It is soft and fuzzy. So let me back out of all that and show you actually two important things about the clone tool. Go back to a solid circle and bring the size up. It's very important to know that there are a couple limitations to the clone tool, and it has to do with its position on the image and what it actually sees. Now this is the original image that you're seeing here. You got 4 quadrants: blue, green, yellow, and red. What you see here when I clone is what the clone tool is going to clone. And here's what I mean by that. I'm going to select this bottom right section again, and I'm going to come up here with my mouse and clone that red up to here, and as I go up you will see that I am copying that red straight up. Now you would think that as I go to the left I should start seeing red show up in the blue quadrant, but I'm not. The reason being is the clone tool clones the data as it was when you started the clone. The area under the bottom right circle to the clone tool is still green. It does not become red until I let up on the mouse. Now if I come over here and clone this, it becomes red. That's one of the limitations, and it's very hard to explain, so hopefully you understood that. If not, try it with one of your own images to see what happens, and you'll understand. The other thing you need to understand about the clone tool is once this circle right here starts to go off the canvas or off the image and onto your canvas, it no longer clones information. So I'm going to click here for a source, or basically I'm going to make this Control C, and this circle up here in the blue becomes my Control V. Now as I click on my left mouse button and start to drag the mouse to the right with the mouse button held, eventually it will get to the edge of the red and no more change will be made. Same thing here. If I put the mouse button here and come up here to paste it, as soon as the selection of where the original data is supposed to come from, no more changes is made, because in this area down here there is no data. I'm off the image. So hopefully that kind of helps you understand the clone tool a little bit. The best advice I can give you is it's going to take a long time for you to really get proficient with it. The clone tool is a very, very powerful and very versatile tool. So just try it, take an image, drag it in there, make a duplicate of it, don't edit the original, and start playing around with it and see what happens. And that's the best way to understand how the clone tool works. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment on my videos, and I'll see you on the next one.